Hey guys, Venomousfatman here, and I got a brand new OTGT for you. This time I'm talking about WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2011 for the PlayStation Portable, the PSP version of the game, not the console version, guys. So anyway, what is it about this game that's good or bad? This game is terrible, number one. I should come out and say, for the PlayStation Portable, this is almost, it has the look and it has somewhat of the feel of the actual stuff that's on the console, but the controls are what really killed this game on the PSP. When I was trying out the franchise mode, which is kind of like a season or career type of mode, that you have both Road to WrestleMania and you have this also scenario type of mode where you go through a bunch of stuff, either with the one of the actual superstars or a created superstar that you can make. I was checking. They have this little section in Road to WrestleMania where you could kind of run around the backstage arena, talk to different people and experience different story elements before actually going into the actual show's matches and stuff. And the controls for running around, which are pretty similar to the controls when you're actually in the ring fighting, are terrible. You have to move with the actual D-pad on the actual PSP, and we all know how bad that is. And you have to, use the camera to control the analog stick. But here's the problem, though. When you're trying to actually use the camera to move around and stuff and actually look around what's going on around you, when you're moving backstage, you have to move it to where you want it to go. Move your character to wherever the next spot is, where you're trying to go to. You have to stop, move the camera again with the analog stick, then continue moving. You have to keep doing that. There is no way to actually, like on the shoulder buttons, like either L or R, to lock in one direction like in most of these other PSP games that they have out now. And that kind of sucks because I'm constantly fighting the camera. It's taking me forever just to get from point A to point B, which aren't really that far from each other. And I can't stand that. That really kind of killed the whole thing for me. Now, as far as the actual wrestling is concerned, the wrestling, it does look nicer because now the meters are, on the actual characters, on the actual icons, where they're not all over the top or the bottom of the screen and stuff, and they're not in your face. They kind of blend in with the environment, and it actually looks like you're, watching an actual wrestling match, or as close to it as you're going to get. But, like I said, the main thing that really kills this game is the controls. Trying to get just a simple grapple or trying to get the grapple that you want is really a hassle because you're constantly fighting and going through all the different combinations of what you could do on the D-pad, which, like I said, is really terrible. Trying to get a specific type of move that you might want. And you normally think at one point when you actually think you're going to do something and you end up getting something completely different. Where it took me a while until I actually looked into the actual controls list and did it myself, figuring out how to make a guy stand up from the actual ground rather than pin him all the time. There'll be times when I knock a guy to the ground, I try to pick him up, and all of a sudden my character's going for a pin. And I'm like, what the hell? And it keeps constantly happening a lot. Even when I already know that the button presses for the actual, picking the guy up from the ground and, setting him up for another grapple. But it just kept doing things that I didn't want it to do. And this was mostly in part due to the D-pad, which really got frustrating. I can't stress that enough. So anyway, bottom line is this, guys. This game is terrible for the handheld. It's terrible for the PSP. While it does have a good creative superstar section, which, we all know how it is, especially if you play the console version of this game, you're pretty much going to know what this is, savor a few things here and there. It has, it's getting the look down as far as like how the actual wrestling's looking, on the PSP compared to the consoles and stuff, and actually getting to that sense of like actually watching a wrestling match. It has that going good for itself. But really, they need to find a better way to actually handle the control scheme on the PSP because I feel it didn't work at all. And I really, like I said, I was constantly fighting the D-pad in order to get the moves that I wanted and actually get the outcomes that I wanted while I'm actually, in the middle of matches. So anyway, guys, that's just my opinion and stuff. Leave your comments and video responses, guys. I don't mind. Just keep it civil. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have played both versions. Put it on there which one you think is better or which one, felt that really needed a lot of work. Because personally, I think the PSP version of this game really needs to go back to the drawing board and really fix up a lot of stuff, especially with the controls. Are there any other like differences between the console and the PSP version? Throw it on there, if I forgot to mention them. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Venomous out, and that was only the goddamn truth, people. Talk to y'all later.